Today is May 27th, 2006. I am Sarah Locker. It is a pleasure to conduct this interview for the Dakota Memories Oral History Project in Hague, North Dakota. Can you state your full name, including your maiden name?
Mary Mitzel Weber,
And when and where were you born?
around Kintyre, North Dakota.
And when were you born?
At home, the house.
What date?
August the 7th, 1915.
Have you ever heard any interesting stories about your birth?
Oh yeah, my sister was telling me that it was a real hot day. And then my brother had to go and get a lady to help my mother.
A midwife?
Midwife, you know. And
Do you know if it was an easy birth for your mom? If it was a hard birth?
I think it was easy. She had 9 children before me.
She was ready to go.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you share the earliest memory that you have?
Well, when I started school and stuff like that.
Yeah, what's the earliest one you can remember?
Well, my mom passed away when I was 2.5 years old. See, then from there on, I don't remember too much because we were just here and there, you know. And then my brother took over and cooked for us and sewed and everything.
Do you remember your mother at all?
No, not at all. I was only 2.5, and then the rest. Well, she was only 37 years old, Mom, you know. And
She died young. Do you know what she died from?
well, it was during the flu, and she was expecting again.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's about all I know. You know, I never knew I had a mom.
Basically, your brother was your mom.
Yes.
What was it like growing up on the plains?
Oh, I don't know. It was. I always worked out in the field, helped my dad, and so on. The boys were always hired out, and so I had to do the outside chores. And my sister, she was a year older than me, and then she did the cooking from there on, you know.
What were winters like living on the plains?
Oh, there was a lot of snow those days, driving with the sled and the horses. And we had to go to school like that. The boys drove, and there were about 5 of us going to school at the time. And so we went out sledding at night, and that's about kerosene lamps. We couldn't do much, so we had to go to bed early.
Do you remember any particularly hard winters?
Yes, they were. You know, when we had to walk sometimes to school, you know, it was about 2 miles. And then we got pretty cold at times.
What would you do to keep yourself busy? How would you play in the winter?
Oh, we had cards, and then we had different things, you know, and took the chairs and rode around the table. See which one has got the best horse.
You'd use a chair as a horse?
Yeah, my sister and my 2 brothers, you know. Dad was gone usually all the time, and so we had fun at home.
What other games would you play with your brothers and sisters?
Mostly cards, and then we had those spinners. We took a button and put thread through it, and we spun it, you know, and pulled it. And then we put it in each other's hair sometimes.
Would it get tangled up in the hair?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
What were summers like?
Well, we walked maybe 6 miles sometimes to the German school, you know, during the summer. And, well, we had herd the cows and different things like that. And take them out in the field and sit there till it was time to go home.
Would you play around while you're sitting there with the cows?
We usually had a horse riding, you know, then when they took off, then we had to go and get them back again to that place. And so, was about our summers, you know. And then we had a watermelon patch. We'd go out there and sit there and eat watermelons in the patch. And
What was your favorite season growing up?
well, we liked the winters because you could go out sledding at night and different things, you know. And I wasn't much of a gardener at that time. So it just helped along whatever there was to do, you know.
Let's talk about your grandparents. Did you know your grandparents on your father's side?
I didn't know any at all, no.
Never met any of them?
No.
Do you know if they're the ones that immigrated?
Yes. But my grandpa Mitzel died over in Russia. Then Grandma came over here.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your parents then. Can you tell me about your father?
Well, I don't know too much, you know, because he was always walking around and going to town. And so we were mostly alone as kids at home, you know.
What did he do? What was his profession?
Well, farming.
What all did he farm?
Well, wheat and different things like that, oats mostly.
Do you know when he was born?
My dad, yeah, and I should have looked before, I guess.
That's okay.
December the 21st, 1877.
And was he born here in the U.S.?
No, in Russia.
He was born in Russia? How old was he when he came over from Russia?
I think it was about 18.
Did he ever share any stories of
Not
what it
ma-
was like?
Not many. It's just that they had to go to the service. That's why he took off and came to America.
Okay. What was your father's name?
Joseph.
How did your father express emotions? If he was happy or if he was angry, what would he do?
Mostly angry, I guess.
Was he strict with you children?
Oh yes, we got it there once in a while. We didn't do the right thing when he was gone. So we didn't do the right stuff that he wanted us to do.
What would the punishment be if you were misbehaving?
Oh, they had that double strap, you know, the razor strap. We got it with that.
How would you describe your relationship with him?
He didn't talk much to us kids. And then men would come, they'd play cards, and they had a whiskey still. They were brewing whiskey at the same time and drinking.
So he did make his own 190?
Yes.
Did he brew his own beer or wine?
Oh, yes.
What was alcohol like then? Did a lot of people drink? Did they drink a lot?
Yeah, they drank a lot, you know, but not too much in town, you know. It was mostly at home, you know, and they got together.
Did anybody ever get in trouble for making their own
Not
alcohol,
those,
do you remember?
not those days, you know, but later on they took everything away from the stills and everything.
Who took it all away?
I think it was the government, you know, that they sent out. And
Did you ever see anybody get in trouble for having alcohol?
no, not really.
How did your father handle hard times? You know, the depression or when a crop didn't turn out?
I don't know, he really didn't say much, you know, but when something wrong, then we all had to suffer for it. Yeah.
Did you ever meet any of your aunts and uncles?
Yes, I met a few of them, not too many.
Did they live nearby?
No,
How
well,
often?
like Hague, you know, I had aunt in Hague, but they never helped us out or anything, you know.
How often would you see them?
Maybe once a year.
On a holiday or
Yeah, usually church feast or something like that.
the name's day celebration? Is that what you mean, the church feast?
Yeah, then People would come and you serve a meal, and stuff like that.
Did you ever have a favorite cousin or a favorite aunt or uncle?
I really don't know. We really didn't get out much those days,
You said that your brother took over cooking and everything when your mother died. How did all of you children get along?
I don't know. Sometimes we were fighting and sometimes it was okay. And
Was there a brother or sister you fought more with than others?
one of the brothers,
Which one?
Paul, he just died 2 years ago now.
Do you remember what you would fight about? Or was it just anything and everything?
No, him and my sister, they would always get into it. And then my sister gave me the stove poker. She said, you hit him when he comes in the door. So I was standing there and I didn't want to hit him. So I jumped on his back. And then he threw me in the slop pail. I said, now I got it for doing what you told me.
Do you have any other stories about your brothers and sisters?
Well, not too many. We used to go to dances, and the one that cooked for us, he would take us, in the winter, drive with the sled and the horses,
Where did you go to the dances at?
Well, we'd go over to St. Anthony's, south of Napoleon and so on. But it was a long ways driving, so we didn't get too many dances.
Can you tell me the birth order of your siblings? Like, who's the oldest?
Which ones? My brothers and
Yeah,
sisters?
your brothers and sisters. Can you
Yeah.
tell me the order of them from oldest to youngest?
Aggie, that was the first one. Then Josephine, then August, then Carl, John, then Tony, Joe, Paul, Margaret, and I.
A lot of boys.
10 of us.
What roles did each person have? The oldest did the cooking.
Everybody did something, Not that I know. We didn't have any chores. Maybe gather the eggs or something.
You didn't do a whole lot of chores?
Milking, we had to milk, by hand those days. And then we had harvesting time and so on. Well, during spring's work too, I had to go out and we had to take the horses out and water them and then take them back, give them their feed and put the harnesses on them.
Which chore did you like the least?
I like plowing.
You did like plowing?
Because walking behind the drag, you got so dusty, and I didn't like that.
Which chore would you prefer to do?
I did drilling sometimes, that I kind of liked. Stood on top of the drill and looked out.
What would you drill for?
Well, the wheat, or whatever that was to be seeded in the spring. When the boys weren't around, then I had to go out and there were the four horses on the drill.
Okay.
And then sometimes I didn't do the right thing, but it passed.
So you were the youngest. How did your brothers and sisters treat you since you were the youngest?
I didn't notice anything that I was treated different than the others.
Okay.
I think my sister was always treated a little better than me.
How so?
Well, she always got to go along when the folks went someplace, and well, I was only 2.5 at the time, so I really didn't notice anything,
Let's talk about play a little more. What kind of games would you play outside?
Oh, we had Andy over, and we dropped the hanky and so on.
How do you play drop the hanky?
We ran behind each other, and then dropped the hanky. Then if that one didn't run with the hanky, then we had to run again. We had to pick up that hanky and take a run for it.
Where did you learn that game?
I don't know. I think it's from the school, you know. And,
What other games did you play outside?
well, hide and seek. Sometimes we be stuck in the haystack.
Would you use the whole farm to play hide and seek?
Yes, yeah.
What kind of games did you play inside?
Well, not too many insides, you know.
You mentioned you played cards. What kind of card games would you play?
We usually played whist. And then, I don't know what they cooked. Well, something like pinochle and different things, you know.
And where did you learn these games?
Well, it's just from kids being together, you know.
Did your father ever play games with you children?
Him and I used to play, I know it's a game called Driving Each Other Out of the Land, you know, in German. Land ausdriven.
Did you play that?
Then each one got 5 cards and then see which one could beat the other one. Then one night he got mad and he said, I'm going to burn those cards, I don't win anyway. And he lifted up the lid in the stove and I thought he threw them in. I went and threw mine in. Then he said, oh, you're stupid. He said, what are we going to do now? So we went and got paper and made cards.
Did he play any other games?
Not that I can remember, really.
Did he play games with any of your brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get to any other place, so we did play at home, you know.
Did you ever play with any of the farm animals?
Oh, yeah, we had calves, you know, and stuff like that, little horses and colts, you know.
And would you ride them, or how would
Oh,
you play
yes,
with them?
we riding around the pasture, the boys and I.
What was your favorite place, or where was your favorite place to play?
Well, outside, I always liked outside, you know, so.
Was there any spot on the farm you liked to go play at?
We had those teeter-totters too, you know, we sat on there and teeter-tottered around, merry-go-round, put the wheel on top of an axle, you know, and then it would spin around.
Did your dad make that for you?
No, the boys did, you know.
Excuse me. Did you ever go hunting?
Yes.
Can you tell me about your hunting?
Oh, I shot rabbits. Got an old combine up here, then in the winter I'd sit up there and I shoot rabbits and brought them home. And now I go out, go for hunting.
Even now you go for hunting?
Yes.
Do you just shoot? Did you ever do any trapping of
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
what would you trap?
Well, mostly gophers in the summertime, but the boys always trapped skunks and weasels and coyotes.
Did you catch a lot?
Oh, yeah, in those days, you know, there was a lot of that stuff out.
Did you ever go fishing?
Not really, huh?
What would you use as a trap?
Well, a gopher trap.
Can you describe what that looks like?
Yeah, I don't know, ours had a spring, you know, you had to step on there and then open it up. And there was a little clamp on it. You had to set it. Okay. Then we put it in a hole and the gopher came out and got him.
Did you ever have any favorite rhymes or sayings?
Not really, you know.
Were you superstitious as a child? Did you have any superstitions?
No, not that I know.
Did you and your... Go ahead.
I'm still not.
Did you guys ever share scary stories when you were growing up?
I suppose, you know, they tried to scare us girls, you know, the 2 boys, you know. And we were mostly home alone, us 4.
Do you remember any specific events or times that they tried to scare you?
Oh, different times, and then once we were the smallest ones, so they put us upstairs, my two brothers, and they lit the fire downstairs. They were going to burn us too. So the folks came home and caught them, and yeah, they were going to burn us, get rid of us too.
Do they do anything else?
I mean, you forget those things sometimes.
Did you have a favorite song as a child?
The school songs, but
Do you remember any of them?
I kind of forgot everything.
Did you like to sing?
Not really. You had to go up in front, and I thought everybody was looking at you. Then it didn't work too good.
Let's talk about school. Where did you go to school at?
At it's Marie's District School. It's east of Linton, about 20 miles.
Was it a one-room school?
Yes.
Can you tell me how many students you had in the school? How many were in your class? In your grade?
There might have been 12 kids in school at that time.
Did you have a teacher that you liked better than the other ones?
Oh yes, there's some of them you like better.
Can you tell me about some of them?
What was one from Hazelton? McDonald. Jeanette McDonald. I liked her.
How come?
I don't know, she was always nice to us. Some were a little rough, but we didn't speak English that time. So when they caught us speaking German, then we always had to stay in school, after school, So we always ran away from the school area so we could talk.
Was it hard learning English?
I think it was, but, it just came, reading and so on.
Did you have a favorite subject in school?
I liked spelling.
It's getting windy out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a subject that you liked least?
I think it was history.
That's what we do. Were you a good student?
Yes, I had a good report card. But I didn't go to school anymore because my dad moved. And I was in the 6th grade, and then I didn't go to school anymore.
Did your older brothers and sisters help you out with school, with your homework?
No. School superintendent came out and wanted me to go because I was good at that time. But I was afraid of those people I didn't know.
And did your dad encourage you to go back?
No, he really didn't care. Just let us kids do what we wanted.
Did anybody go on to high school in your family?
No.
Did everybody stay home and help on the farm then?
Yes, they were hired out, but they all got a little education,
What would you bring for lunch?
Well, usually syrup bread and an apple or something if we had it. After we butchered, we usually had a piece of sausage and bread. So that wasn't too much to take along. Kuchen sometimes, when it was baked, I remember the first time when I didn't go to school yet, and then we didn't have any bread at home. So my sister baked kuchen, and I had to run over those 2 miles, with a bucket full of kuchen.
You carried your lunch to school just in a bucket?
Yes.
Okay. What would you do at recess or at noon hour?
I usually go out and go down the hill where there was skating and so on, with sleds going down the hill.
There was a pond nearby at school so you could go skating?
Yes.
And what would you use for skates?
Or shoes.
Okay, didn't actually have skates.
No skates those days.
Did you play any games when you were skating around?
Yeah, fox and goose and different things, you know.
Can you tell me about the different games you would play?
We didn't have too many, you know. By the time we got down to the pond and back again, it's almost time to start over school, you know.
You don't remember any other games besides fox and
No.
goose that you'd play?
And the over, you know, threw a ball over the building and caught it, and that's about all I know, you know.
Okay. What's your fondest memory of school?
Well, it's just, I suppose, playtime, like all the kids say, you know.
Can you describe the house you grew up in?
Yeah, it's a two-story home with a kitchen and then a front room and a bedroom downstairs. Then upstairs was closed up for one room.
So where would everybody sleep?
Well, we had beds upstairs, and then my sister and I slept downstairs. The others were all gone already at the time, you know.
So did you have to share beds at all?
Well, yeah, my sister and I did, yeah.
What kind of furniture did you have in the house?
Oh, a wardrobe when we hung the clothes in. Excuse me, then it has drawers. Excuse me. And otherwise, I don't think we had any furniture, you know.
Did you move around a lot as a child, or at all?
We moved about 3 times, you know, with our days, you know.
Where did you move to?
Well, we lived north from St. Michael's Church, east of Linton. Then we moved about 5 miles south. Then the next move we made was about 1.5 miles north from here, you know.
How would you keep the house warm in the winters?
Well, we had a big furnace that had those little lights in on the sides, and the whole room was lit up.
Would it be warm upstairs as well?
There was no heat upstairs. The boys came running down in the wintertime.
How would you keep the house cool in the summer?
Open the windows.
You guys didn't have a summer kitchen or anything?
No, no.
You spoke German at home?
Yes.
When you kids learned English, did you start using English at home?
No, we always spoke German at home.
Now in the house you didn't describe a bathroom. What would you do for a bathroom?
That's what I said, the slop bucket, you know.
Oh, did you guys have an outdoor bathroom as well?
No. My dad didn't care for anything. No outside, no nothing.
How often would you take baths?
Saturday nights, we'd jump in a barrel. A barrel behind the house, and then it would warm up during the day. And the wintertime, we just had a wash, you know, wash basin.
Oh, you didn't actually take a bath in the wintertime?
Just washed, you know, washed their hair and so on.
What would you use as soap?
They usually made the lye soap. I think that's all we used for everything.
Do you remember how the lye soap was made?
Yeah, they took some fat, you know, from the pork, and they put lye in and stirred it around and poured it into a box, you know, and then it got hard and cut it into bars and washed the clothes with, the feet and everything.
So the same soap you used to wash your clothes and your hair and everything?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever brush your teeth growing up as a child?
No, that I often said, isn't that something? We never had a toothbrush, you know.
Was there a lot of tooth problems? Did anybody have?
Not really, no.
Interesting.
I suppose from chewing on stuff, they cleaned.
Clean themselves.
Yeah.
Did anybody other than your oldest brother prepare meals for the family?
Well, one of the girls got married, see, when I was about 7 years old. Then the other one left, so that's when my brother took over.
And who took over after him for cooking?
Well, he stayed with us until he never got married. So he was always with us until my sister and I were big enough to help with the cooking and so on.
What kind of food would you have? What would usually be a dinner or a supper?
Well, we usually butchered, then we had pork and beef, chicken.
Any, what kind of meals would you have? Like, would it be potatoes? Would you
Usually
have mashed
potatoes and
potatoes?
meat. No vegetables those days.
Did you all sit together at mealtime?
Yes.
Did you have assigned seats?
I suppose usually we got to the same place, the one that got there first.
Were you allowed to talk while you ate?
Yeah. Nobody said anything, that we couldn't speak, and talk to each other.
What were some of your favorite meals growing up as a child?
I liked chicken. I almost had chicken and potatoes, or cream chicken, and then we dunked the bread in it. That was our favorite.
And when you had chicken and potatoes, how would the chicken be cooked? How would you cook the potatoes?
Well, we usually fried the chicken, then made gravy with it afterwards. The potatoes are usually mashed.
What was your least favorite meal?
I don't think I had any. I'd eat anything. Anything that was put on the table, I was glad to get something.
Did your family ever make ice cream?
Yes.
Can you describe how you made the ice cream?
Well, we take cream and eggs, milk and sugar, and put vanilla in. And we'd had a gallon can, and then we would turn it, put ice in a bucket, salt on it, and then the can. And then we would turn it until it froze, and we'd take it off of the sides until it was frozen, and then, so it's our ice cream in the wintertime.
How long would it take to make?
Well, at least a half an hour to turn it,
You said that you did butchering.
Yes.
What all did you butcher?
Well, hogs and the beef and chickens.
Did you can anything or make sausage or smoked
yes.
meat? Can you tell me about that?
We canned sausage and meat.
What kind of clothes would you wear growing up?
Not too many good ones.
Can you describe what your clothes look like?
Well, my sister sewed them yet until she left, and then they did pretty good, and then
Would you wear a skirt? Would it be a t-shirt, a long sleeve shirt?
mostly a dress, I think, we had on those days.
Did you have hand-me-down clothes?
There wasn't anybody that gave us anything, so
Did you wear your older sister's clothes after they grew out of them?
well, I think we wore them out. There was just the two girls, in the end.
And what would the boys wear?
They had overalls with the suspenders on and so on.
And then just a pullover shirt, a button-up shirt.
Usually buttons, because those days they didn't have the pullovers. It's mostly buttons. And then the long-legged underwear in the wintertime.
And would that be bought or would that be made?
No, they were bought underwear. But they were so hard to wash with the washboard, and the tub and the wringer on it.
Did you usually have to wash clothes?
Yeah, later on, and
What was that like, having to wash clothes? How did you do it?
then we had two tubs. Then you washed one and then rinse water in the other one.
And you just washed it in soap water, or did you use anything to help get the dirt out?
Well, they used to boil the clothes, put the water in and some of that lye soap and boil them until everything is out, and they took them out and washed them and rinsed them again and hung them up over the fence outside. Didn't have a clothesline.
How often would you have to wash clothes?
We usually washed once a week.
How often did you get new shoes?
Usually Easter time we got our outfits.
That's when you got the shoes.
In the summertime we'd run barefooted.
How important was the radio in your family?
Well, we had one radio and then they had this battery, so then when the wind stopped, we didn't have a radio. And we were always all up there listening to it at one radio.
What programs would you listen to?
I remember Amos and Andy. That's about the only one I can remember.
Did you ever listen to any music on the radio?
Oh yeah, But Mike Dosh used to play in Bismarck, the station. Then it came through the radio.
Do you remember when your family got its first car or truck?
I remember my dad had a Maxwell, but that's about as far as one car in the family, a long time ago.
How did it change your family's life having the car?
Well, Dad used it most of the time, and then when we wanted to go someplace, then he had to take us. And it didn't work too well.
Did he drive it a lot?
I didn't know.
Did your dad drive it a lot?
Yeah, he always left with the car, yeah.
Did you drive out to the fields with the car? Would you go to work or go into town?
To town mostly, that's all, he used the car for. And church.
Do you remember when your family got electricity?
You mean here?
When you were growing up, did you ever get electricity in any of the farmhouses?
No, we never had electricity until 55, I think we got electricity here, but before we didn't have any.
How did that change your life, getting electricity?
Yeah, it was really nice. Got the washing machine, the dryer, and freezers.
With the freezers, how would you keep your food cold before you had electricity?
We had a kerosene refrigerator.
Do you remember at all how that works, how a kerosene would keep something cold?
Well, there was just like a gallon jug in there for the kerosene. Then you pulled that bottom shelf out and lit it, and you pushed it back in again, and that's the way it cooled off.
Interesting. When did your family get a telephone?
Or here. We had one at home that was, I don't know, I suppose in the 20s we had a telephone at home, but it wasn't kept up, and then all of a sudden we didn't have anything. We always listened in on it.
What would you listen to?
Well, the neighbors gossip.
It was still a party line?
Oh yeah.
So you could hear other people's? Did you ever hear any funny stories that you remember?
Oh yes. Neighbors talking to each other, They had a short and a long ring, then we knew who it belonged to, the two shorts.
That meant it was you?
Yeah, two short rings, Then we knew who's calling, then we listen in.
Can you share a story that you remember, a funny story?
No, not really, we just talked every day until the lines broke down, then we were finished.
Do you remember going to town a lot?
Maybe once in 2 weeks or so if we got to go, The 4th of July we got to go.
Why would you go in for the 4th of July?
Well, sit on the merry-go-round and eat ice cream and stuff like that.
Would the town have an event going on? Would they have a parade, games?
Not too much, I think, in those days, but they had the merry-go-round down at the Seaman Park at Linton. And then we would go in and stay for the day.
Would you have fireworks?
Yeah, we watched it when others had it, We didn't.
Do you think there was a difference between people who lived in town and people who lived on a farm?
They thought it was, but I don't know. I think we were just as well off as they were, but they didn't like the farmers.
How would you know they didn't like the farmers?
Well, they always thought they stink.
They always thought you stinked?
On account of the milking cows and so on,
So would they treat you differently?
Well, we heard that sometimes, that the farmers stink, so we didn't care.
Would you ever go to town to see a movie? Do anything like that?
Oh, once in a while, maybe twice a year, maybe. We got in that much,
What was your favorite movie?
I don't really know. I think Dale Evans and Roy Roger, something like that,
Did you ever go to town as you got older on a Saturday night or a Friday night?
Not too many, just only when there was a dance or something like that we got in. That wasn't too often.
And what were the dances like?
Well, they would play an accordion, and start playing, they start dancing. I suppose they didn't listen to the music anymore once they were going.
Would you go out to eat after you went to a dance? Or would you just go home?
We'd just go home. There wasn't any money to go for eating,
Did the dance cost money to get into?
Yes. Maybe a quarter or so. But in those days, it was a lot of money.
And can you describe the band that would be playing? Did they have an accordion? Was it a piano, guitar?
Well, Gothenburg was playing that time when we used to go to dances, Tom Gothenburg.
Okay, and what did he play? Did he sing?
No, just waltzes and polkas and the two-step and so on.
Let's talk about religion a little bit. How important was religion during your childhood?
We always went to church. Dad let us go,
What church did you attend?
We went to St. Michael's, east of Linton. And then we belonged to St. Boniface, went up there,
So you were Catholic growing
Yes.
up? Mm-hmm. Did you make your first communion in German or English?
In German.
And what about your confirmation?
Everything was German those days.
Even the Mass?
Oh, that was in Latin.
Would the priest give homilies in German?
Yes.
Did you understand the German that he spoke?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what it was like when the church switched to using English?
Yeah, it was a little harder than saying the Our Father in German than English. And
Did people like it changing to English?
I don't know. The old ones, I suppose, didn't like it too well, but when we got around, then we were still younger. We didn't mind, at least we understood it, the Latin, nobody understood it.
So the kids were happier.
Mm-hmm.
Would you work on Sunday?
Not in our day, but nowadays we do,
Did you have a different meal on Sundays?
I suppose it was a little more than during the week, you know, but
What would you have that would be a little more?
sauerkraut and ribs and potatoes. Put it on before we went to church.
Did you ever have, well, tell me about celebrating the church's feast day, the name's day.
Well, people would go to church and then they'd come to your place then. That day, you know, we had a big meal. Fixed maybe chicken and everything else that goes with it. Cake and stuff like that.
Can you tell me the other things you'd have to eat?
Well, Sundays, you know, we would make coleslaw and different things like that, pickles, and when somebody would come, you know.
Did you have any desserts for the name's day celebrations?
Yeah, usually had cake, you know.
What kind of cake?
I like to bake the angel food cakes.
Would you have any toppings on it?
Yeah, sometimes a little powdered sugar frosting, you know.
Did you ever have to go to Sunday school or church school?
Well, during the summer, yes, catechism and so on.
What was that? When would you go? Like how, would you go all summer long for 2 weeks, for a
Well,
month?
about 2 weeks, I guess we had it, you know.
And who would teach that?
Well, different people too, like nowadays, you know.
Would it be a priest, nun, somebody from the community?
Well, usually nuns came around, yeah.
Would they teach you in German or in English?
Oh, it was still in German, but nowadays it's English, you know. Our kids even spoke German when they grew up, you know.
Were you ever able to ask questions about church teachings and talk to anybody about religion?
Not really. We went to church, you know, and did our thing and went home again.
Would you stay after and socialize at all?
No. Oh, it's in the once a month we had rolls and coffee. The later days, you know, but not in our days.
For Easter, would your family go to church on Holy Thursday and Good Friday and Holy Saturday?
Yes. We had to be there.
Religion was that important, you had to go?
Yeah, that's right.
What about for Christmas? Would you go to midnight mass?
Yes.
How did your family respond and react towards death that you remember?
Towards what? Excuse me?
Towards death, towards a funeral, towards somebody dying.
Oh,
Would you talk about it?
not much, I don't think. There wasn't much said. I didn't even know that I had a mom, you know, because I was so young when she died. And
Did anybody ever share stories about her
no,
with you?
Dad never said anything.
Did you ever have to attend a funeral when you were a child?
No.
Did you ever visit a doctor growing up?
Not too many. I don't think we ever really got sick, you know.
Did you have home remedies then instead to take care of headaches and
We had liniment,
what's that?
the horse liniment they used to use. And
How would you use it? I don't know.
we put about a tablespoonful in a glass of water and sugar, and then we drink it down.
And that worked?
And green drops we had those days. So.
Do you know what green drops are?
Everybody I thought had it in their home.
And you just had these green drops, or did you buy
Yeah.
them at a store?
At the store, you know, bottom of the. And they put sugar in a spoon and put green drops on and we drink it. Drink it.
Did you ever go visit an eye doctor or a dentist?
Not in our days. Till I got to Minneapolis, then I got new glasses and everything.
Basically, everything was just taken care of at home.
Yeah.
Think of a doctor. Can you tell me what you think is the most adventurous thing you did during your childhood?
Crawled around the top of the house.
Can you tell me more about the story?
Then I fell off the porch and I hurt my leg. Then my sister had to doctor me up again. She put some, they call them high bloom. They rigged the hay stuff together, that crumply stuff, and put it in water, heated it up, and then put that patch on it. And that cured it again.
What was the most stressful childhood experience that you had, or the scariest?
Dreams at night. I always thought a cloud was coming and pushing me down.
Really? Did you have any other dreams?
Well, that's about. Then my neighbor lady said, you have to pray to your mother. And I kept praying to my mom, and I think that just left me.
What's your happiest childhood memory?
Babysitting, I guess.
Can you share a story from babysitting?
I had to cook some cream of wheat and feed them, and it's about, then wash them up, put them to bed again. That was the daily chore.
Is there anything else about your childhood memories that you would like to add?
Not too much.
Why do you think it's important to tell your life story? Why do you think it's important to share your memories?
Well, for other people, I think, that ones are coming up behind you, like the children, they should know about your life, whatever diseases or anything you had, and so they can go about it when they go to the doctor.